tried to start this thing a little bit earlier, and the daggum thing froze on me. I hate it when that happens. Irritating. Come on in, guys. Before too many people get in here, I'm going to start sharing this thing. So give me a minute. Here we go. If you pop by and you see me doing something real quick, I'm sharing this video. I hate autocorrect. I cannot stand it. So yeah, if you're just joining me, fair warning, I'm sharing some of this real quick, so see if we can get some diversity going on in here. I want to talk to all fan bases, not just West Virginia. And dude, I will never get over your YouTube name. That is awesome. That's definitely a top 10 that I've seen. Big Papa Smurf. That is awesome, dude. I can't compete with that. I cannot compete with that. So hats off to you, bud. Hats off to you. And you, if I'm not mistaken, you're the guy that saw my bumper sticker where I live. And that's how you found my channel and you hit the subscribe button. I think that was you. Hold on, one of my cats. Stop. Stupid cats, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they know what's going on because every time I go live, they start doing crap. Because they're freaking jealous. Seriously, my cats are jealous of my attention on this show. And that's when they start acting crazy. I've never seen anything like it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am going ahead and sharing this real quick before I get started, and see what everybody's up to. Yeah, I live in Liberty, South Carolina, actually. I thought you were the one that messaged me and said you saw the bumper sticker on the back of my car, and you decided to see what it was about, and you hit the subscribe button. I was pretty sure it was you. I might be wrong, but I was pretty sure it was you. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. My bad. It's hard to see the thing. The big thing between live shows and regular videos is once I'm done with the regular video, I can promote everywhere. But the thing with the live is I'm promoting while I'm live, so I'm like trying to keep from, you know, running you guys off at the same time to draw other people in. Because it wouldn't do me any good if I promoted and they started coming in, but the people that are watching are like, he's not doing nothing, I'm gone. So it's kind of a... There we go. So yeah, that's definitely me. You probably either see me in the early mornings or in the afternoons, because that's when I drop off and pick up. But yeah, that is definitely me. After this one, I am done, and we'll see what happens. Just wanted to promote it a few places and see if see what people want to say. So I'm really excited because the people that are my subscribers know that I'm college football and college basketball. But I like college football, football more, much more. So whenever March Madness rolls around, you know, I, I do videos on March Madness, and I get into it. And crap, hold on. This stupid thing turned the. Why did it turn the hotspot off? Anything that can happen is happening tonight. Hold on. Talk to me about Clemson, man. I don't, I'll talk to anybody. I'm a big people person, so, I don't mind people stopping by and, hollering at me. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. I put out my, way too early preseason top 25. Some people early preseason top 25. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Which honestly, I wasn't doing it. It's fun to do that. A list was very different from ESPN's, Athlon's, pretty much any list out there. Sports Illustrated, any preseason top 25 that you want to look at online or on a sports site or, on your phone, whatever. This is going to be different because a lot of people, whenever they make their top 25, they try to go off, okay, what did they say? And they just switch the rankings around. So it looks like their preseason rankings look original, but really all they did is look at a different preseason top 25 and just like, I'll just make this look like it's mine, but just move everything around so it's not too similar to what I saw. That's not what I do. What I do is I go back, I look at the season, I look at how they did last year, who's coming back, their coaching, how stable is that, how good is their coach, and their schedule, their upcoming schedule, because you could have I think Clemson would have more losses in the SEC. I'm not saying they would be bad, but I think they would have 1 or 2 losses every year, still contend for the playoffs. Probably win the SEC championship like every other year, something like that. And that's not trash talking Clemson. But I do think the ACC is getting better. ESPN only has 3 ACC teams in their top 25. I have 4. And 1 that's right on the fringe. I think they're overlooking 2 teams, Louisville and NC State. I think they are overlooking those 2 teams. NC State in 2019 went 4-8. They dropped completely off my radar. They sucked. Last year they turned it around and they went 8-4. And Devin Leary, their quarterback, he's looking pretty good. So Clemson actually wants their opponents to be better. Still beatable, but that looks like a better win than, a win over, 5-6 NC State. So it's almost like which one would you prefer? Would you prefer having to, tough it out through a season, but you prove your worth, or, be able to get through the season relatively unscathed and have, everybody's healthy, you're good to go, and you're good for the playoffs, and you're in the playoffs. But then you have people saying, well, they haven't played anybody. See what I'm saying? There's 2 sides to every story. So it's one of those things. But Clemson has dominated the ACC. This is still strange to me, guys. I know they've dominated the ACC for several years now, like 6 or 7 years, I think, something like that. But it's still strange to me because I've lived in South Carolina, near Clemson, South Carolina. I'm 38, and I would say I've lived 25 of my 38 in South Carolina. Not near Clemson, but in South Carolina, in the upstate. And in this particular area, I've probably lived in this area, near Clemson, I would say 4 years. The last 4 years, I've lived in Clemson, South Carolina. So I remember what it was like before the domination of Clemson. So to me, I mean, it's been a while, and it's relatively normal now. But my brain still remembers the ACC that was dominated by Florida State. To me, this is still the ACC. It's just that Florida State and Clemson have switched spots. Now Clemson dominates the ACC. I think we would all like for the ACC just to be a little more balanced. And we've been trash talking the Coastal for a long time, but the Coastal is starting to balance itself out just a little bit more. You have North Carolina and Miami that are not odds-on favorite to get into the playoffs, but people are talking about them. There's a chance. It wouldn't be laughable to say, hey, I think North Carolina's got a shot to go to the playoffs. You wouldn't get laughed out of the building. You'd be like, I don't know about that. I got, Oklahoma, Georgia, Clemson, Alabama. The list goes on. But you wouldn't get laughed out of the building. If you would have said that, 3, 4, 5, whatever years ago, people would have been like, you're an idiot. Why did you even say North Carolina? So that shows that the Coastal is starting to balance out. The problem for Clemson is they're not in the Coastal. They're in the Atlantic. And right now the Atlantic is so funny. Florida State under Mike Norvell, they're trying to build something. They're trying to, get something going. It's going to take some while because Jimbo Fisher left Florida State high and dry. People don't realize this. When he left, Florida State had one of the worst offensive lines in the nation. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody was talking how Jimbo did not know how to spot offensive line talent when he was at Florida State. And that's why he left, because he knew his offensive line was trash, and Texas A&M was, offering him a boatload of money to come to a better situation with better talent. Who wouldn't do that? I know Florida State fans were mad, but I mean, come on, that's kind of common sense. So I didn't blame him at all, but I do think that Jimbo Fisher is a very overrated college football coach, extremely overrated. Last year they had a good season. Finished number 4 in the nation, right? But it was a shortened season. What's he done besides that? Nothing. I mean, they've had a consistent, top 25 program, but for him to get paid as much as he's getting paid, that's not going to cut it. I'm not impressed with Jimbo Fisher's recruiting abilities. That's one of his big downfalls. He is not a very good recruiter. I don't know why. He seems to be okay as far as coaching in game and working with his players, but as far as actual recruiting, something is not right with the guy as far as being able to spot talent. He's not great at that. He might be maybe slightly above average, but he definitely does not belong in an elite program. And I don't understand all these people that praise him. I'm like, what has he done to earn all this praise? Yes, last year they had a great season. Arguably, shoulda, coulda, woulda been in the playoffs. But then you got that one loss where you got blown out by Alabama. Nobody wanted to see that again, and it would have happened again. On the flip side, Notre Dame got blown out by Alabama. Nobody wanted to see that. So who could have filled that spot? Well, I think 2 teams could have filled that spot and made at least a fight out of it. Cincinnati and Georgia. Georgia, maybe even Oklahoma. I know they had 2 losses, but Oklahoma, I think, would have given Alabama a fight. Because Oklahoma can keep up in scoring, and Alex Grinch, their defensive coordinator, has Oklahoma looking like they have an actual defense in the Big 12? When was the last time you saw that? It's been a while. So, yeah, I just don't understand the hype that comes with Jimbo Fisher. I'm like, and people try to explain it to me, but what they say doesn't make sense. Like, he's done this. I'm like, no, he hasn't. Like, why are you saying that? He can't even come close to being competitive against Nick Saban. I'm not even talking about beating Nick Saban. That's like 2 steps out. He's not even close to being competitive against Nick Saban. So it's I'm like, I don't understand the praise that he gets. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe one of you guys can explain it to me, because I truly don't get it, and I'm I'm not a closed-minded person. I'll listen to what you say, and if it makes sense, you know, you can change my mind. It's happened before. People have changed my mind. But it's got to make sense, guys. That's the only catch. I'm not just going to believe you just because you start spitting stats and stuff, and then, you know, because anybody can look up stats and all that stuff, and 9 times out of 10, they're going by stats that are either outdated or flat out wrong. So just make sure that your information is factual, correct, and can be proven. That's the only thing I ask. So, I'm gonna go through my top 25 again, my preseason, my way too early preseason top 25. The bet says Jimbo got a ring. That's the only reason. Yeah, you're correct. And it's because he got famous Jameis Winston. That's it. He got lucky and got Jameis Winston. After that, nothing. And Bobby Bowden had turned Florida State into a powerhouse. So he took over a program that was already way up here. And he saw the writing on the wall because he knew he recruited trash on the offensive line. And that Florida State was heading down the toilet. So, personally, I think Jimbo's a bit of a scumbag because he set a school up to be bad for at least 5 years after his departure. So, just to make himself look like a good coach. Oh, as soon as Jimbo left, Florida State went down the toilet. So, he must have been a good coach. Yeah, no, that's not how it worked. Everybody saw the writing on the wall. If you're a sports guy and you actually watch how teams recruit, their movement, how they're graded, you saw what was about to happen. I was not surprised that Jimbo left because I was like, man, Florida State's in for a bad season. When he left, I'm like, he knew what was going on. So, yeah. But that championship ring at Florida State, the equity in that has got to have run out by now. I mean, that was a long time. That's what, 7-8 years ago. I mean, come on. He hasn't even come close to achieving something like that. The closest he's come to that was last year when they finished 4th, but they still got obliterated by Alabama. Texas A&M did not look like a national championship team. I don't understand the argument people were giving as to how they thought Texas A&M should have gotten that 4th spot. I'm like, no, that goes to a team that actually deserves that spot. Texas A&M did not have the capabilities of winning a national championship. They started this whole argument, just the 4th best team. And I understand that argument, but at the same time, you know, you want it to be a team that you know, could have a shot. Just like the first playoffs, Ohio State, yes, they were the 4th team in, but people knew that Ohio State had a chance to do something. Nobody expected them to win the national championship, that's for sure. That surprised everybody, but it didn't surprise anybody when they got in. And I know that was the whole argument with the Big 12 with I think it was TCU and Baylor. I think those were the two. But, you know, it is what it is. That 4th spot did not in any way, shape, or form belong to Texas A&M. They should not have been considered. Okay? Anyways, so my preseason top 25. If you've already seen the video, I apologize. I'm not going to break this down. I'm just going through the list. So listen to my preseason top 25. Let me know what you think about it. And tell me where you disagree. So you're going to hear me, you know, listen to it. And when you hear something that's, wait a minute. Hold up. Let me know. I want to hear it. I love the back and forth. All right, so number 25 on my preseason top 25 list, Indiana. Last year, Indiana shocked a lot of people. Not really me, though. Their preseason FPI was, I think it was in the lower 20s. I don't know the exact number. I think it was 23 or 24. So I was like, you know, Indiana could be a top 20. I still think that Penn State beat Indiana in that first game. I do. I think Penn State got robbed in that. And like I've said in my videos, had that been switched around, who knows? Penn State might have had the season that Indiana had. I mean, that's just something to think about. Maybe Penn State was a 2-point conversion away from having a pretty good season. Nothing like winning the Big Ten or going to the playoffs or anything like that, but definitely better than a losing season. At minimum, it would have at least put them at 500 or maybe one game over 500, because that would have been the flip. So, yeah, that one game would have at least minimum gotten them, a winning record. Number 24. This is where I have Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is going to have a good running game. Very, very deep. But they lose Kellen Mond. I didn't think Kellen Mond was a great quarterback, but he was above average. He's pretty good. I don't think he's going to do very well in the NFL, though. That's just me. So, they're replacing Kellen Mond. Big-time questions with the quarterback. That offensive line is a big concern. Defense might be okay. So their best asset is going to be their run game. And they will have a good run game. But you can only go so far with the run game. So that's why I have them so low. People, I'm not understanding why they're so high in preseason rankings. I have my hotspot on, so I don't know why there's lag. I mean, maybe the weather is affecting it. We're having some storms roll through. That might be it. I apologize. Yeah, we got some thunderstorms rolling through. I didn't know y'all were having lag. My bad. So to me, if you are not Alabama, not Clemson, maybe Oklahoma, and maybe Ohio State, if you're not those four, if you lose your starting quarterback, you're going to take a step back. That includes Texas A&M. Texas A&M doesn't, just keep cycling in great quarterbacks. They don't do it. So I had to drop them because they lost their starting quarterback. That will affect them. And I think 2 of their top targets will be gone as well. So their passing game is a big, big question right now. They'll have a decent run game, but the offensive line is another question. So I didn't knock them out of my top 25, but definitely not in the top 10. What was ESPN thinking? I don't know. Number 23, I have West Virginia. Plain and simple, West Virginia is going to have a really good offense this year. I saw the spring game this morning or this afternoon. That offense looks really good. Exactly what I expected. What I didn't expect was the backup running back, Sparrow, giving Letty Brown a run for his money. Seriously, guys, they're talking about putting him in the starting position, maybe in the first few games, because he did way better than Letty Brown in the spring game. That shocked me. And we saw a lot more zone read option today. Yeah, West Virginia is starting to run the zone read. And West Virginia fans have been asking for that for a while. So that was nice to see. And they did it very well. I think they scored either 2 or 3 touchdowns just on the zone read. Jarrett Doege's legs kind of surprised me. Not really all that fast, but he broke some tackles. I was impressed. I was impressed with the way he broke tackles. But then his backup, Garrett Green, and it's not even guaranteed that Jarrett Doege will start the first game because Garrett Green looks great. He hit a 51-yard bomb in his, I think he only had 1 series. But it was maybe it was 2 series. I can't remember how many series he had. But anyways, he had a 51-yard bomb showing off his arm strength. And then besides that, the dual threat quarterback. West Virginia definitely has a good dual threat quarterback in Garrett Green. The dude has very slick moves like Pat White did. He's a little bit of a better passer than Pat White was. Not quite as good of a runner. So it balances out more towards the passing side for Garrett Green. But he's still more than capable of tucking it and running it and getting a first down when a play breaks down. That's the thing that West Virginia has been needing. We haven't had a quarterback that can get outside the pocket or step up in the pocket whenever it starts to break down and avoid that sack. Last year, Jarrett Daggy had this issue of holding the ball too long. He could have thrown it out of bounds. I'm talking about outside the pocket, wouldn't have been intentional grounding, any of that. The dude had issues holding the ball way too much. So, it was really nice seeing, number one, a great quarterback competition for West Virginia. Don't forget about Will Crowder. He had a 62-yard touchdown pass. It was a long one. So, Jarrett Daggy better be on his toes. Because it's not Daggy or bust this year. We have Garrett Green and we have Will Crowder. So, if he starts holding on to the ball too long and taking sacks and fumbling, one particular fumble against Texas Tech cost us the game. We literally lost because he fumbled and they scooped and scored. So, yeah, that has to stop. I was not happy at how much he held the ball. So, I'm glad that we have competent backup quarterbacks that can step up in the pocket or get outside of the pocket whenever the line of scrimmage starts breaking down. That was a big concern. I haven't seen us have a quarterback that in a very, very long time. Even Will Grier wasn't all that great. He as far as getting out of the pocket or avoiding sacks or saving a broken play. Not good at it. So I'm excited this year. Maybe Daggy had the capabilities all along and he was just not comfortable with it. I don't know, because he showed some tackle breaking abilities. Pretty happy about that. Little concerned about the defense. Not too concerned. We lost a pretty good cornerback and a pretty good safety, but KJ Martin is back. We got some transfers. Lance Dixon from Penn State. I think our defense will take a step back, but we'll be fine. West Virginia will be fine. We won't be elite like we were last year, but our offense will be better. And like I said in my video, if we can score 30 points, that's a win. Last year, if we could score 20 points, more than likely it was a win. That's how elite our defense was. But this year, if we can score 30 points, we can win the football game. And from what I saw today, we can score 30 points. I think West Virginia is a top 25 team this year. Number 22 on my preseason top 25. Way too early preseason top 25. UCLA. UCLA has one of those rare things where they have stability at the quarterback position, and he's getting better. A lot of teams would, beg, borrow, and steal to have something like that. So it's a big deal that UCLA has a competent, he's not great or anything like that, but UCLA has a competent quarterback that can make some plays. And a lot of people are definitely like, UCLA in your top 25? And they had a losing season last year. Yes, but number one, the Pac-12 was crazy last year. I mean, we had a 4-3 team win the Pac-12 North by default, and then the Pac-12 outright by beating USC. So I don't put too much stock as their actual record goes. I look at their progress. UCLA looked 10 times better than they did last year. And people forget that Chip Kelly is their head coach. Chip Kelly knows how to recruit. UCLA is going to be a serious threat in the Pac-12 in the coming years. I don't think they're a serious threat this year, but I do think they're a top 25 team. Cornerback, his last name is Thompson Robinson. He's not a name that's going to, pop out this year, but he'll be competent, and UCLA will be a steady top 25 team. I expect them to finish either second or third in the Pac-12 South. I think USC and UCLA will be neck and neck, so it might be whoever wins the game between that rivalry. But I think Arizona State wins the Pac-12 South. I'll get to them here in a minute. Number 21 on my way too early top 25, I had Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Yeah, they have pretty much everybody coming back on that crazy offense. I mean, they hung in there with Alabama. The problem with Ole Miss is, and everybody knows this, their defense. Did you know that Ole Miss allowed almost 40 points a game last year, and yet they still did pretty good? They hung in there with Alabama. So the way I'm looking at it this year is if they can improve 5 to 8 points on that, or even down to 30, allowing 30 points per game, That offense is more than capable of beating the opponent. So I expect that defense to be better than trash, which is what they were last year. It was straight garbage, trash. I expect that defense to be a little bit better than that. Not great, not awesome, better. I think Ole Miss has a legit shot at finishing second in the SEC West, below Alabama, above Texas A&M. The real fight, in my eyes, will be for third place. It'll be Texas A&M, LSU, and Auburn that will be fighting for that third spot. And I'm not even so sure that A&M will finish third. They could finish fourth. LSU could be a good team this year. I don't have them in my top 25, but they were close. When you get down there in the 20s, it gets razor thin. But I have Ole Miss at number 21, and yes, that surprised a lot of people, and I understand that. I expect their defense to be better than trash. I mean, the only thing worse would be allowing an opponent to score 50 points a game. That's definitely not happening. So I think it will get better. Maybe not great, but better. And that will be enough for that offense to do what it does. Quarterback. And people don't realize they have great depth at running back. So Ole Miss can wear you out because they can keep fresh, talented legs in at running back. All right, number 20. This was also another surprise in my preseason top 25. NC State. Big time flip from 4-8 to 8-4. I talked about them earlier whenever I was talking about Clemson. Watch out for quarterback Devin Leary. He could be a sneaky, like around the back door kind of thief type of person. Heisman Trophy contender. I'm not ready to call that one yet, but it wouldn't surprise me. Watch out for him. He's going to have a great year. Most of his targets are going to be back. He's got two great running backs in Zonovan Knight and Ricky Person Jr. They're going to have a really good running attack, and he's more than competent. And his favorite target, I can't really say his last name. I think it's Emezi or Emezi. He is NFL talent. That wide receiver is NFL talent, and he opted not to go to the NFL. Huge win for NC State on that one. I think NC State finishes second behind Clemson in the Atlantic, but it could be a battle between NC State and Louisville. Like I said, Louisville was close to being in my top 25. Very, very close. But I liked what NC State had just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Quick side note, guys. If y'all haven't, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can ask my current subscribers. I do regular videos every single day and then live shows at least twice a week. I got the afterwork show on Mondays at 9, and then the afterwork show. One isn't scheduled. Saturdays, I usually don't do one. But you never know when I might do an ab-lib live show. So, yeah. I'm very, very active, and my subscribers are very active. So if you love college football, then you need to hit subscribe. If you don't love college football, don't subscribe. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't love college football, do not hit the subscribe button. That's what this channel is all about. Number 19 in my way too early top 25 preseason poll, Liberty. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Y'all know that jingle. Quarterback Malik Willis, man. He's freak of nature. He could end up being a Heisman Trophy contender. He is so dynamic. I think he could actually do very well in the NFL as long as he found the right offensive scheme. That dude really has caught my eye. Liberty came out of nowhere last year, and that's the only reason that I don't have Liberty higher, because they aren't, this no-name team that could surprise you this year. They aren't that anymore. So the element of surprise, it's not there anymore. So the big question is, can they meet higher expectations? And I said it in my video, higher expectations under more pressure. So it's they have the talent to do it, but can they handle the pressure? I don't know. Their schedule is very, very interesting as well. Here we go. USC, number 18, the Trojans. Trojan man. Quarterback Keaton Slovis. Very dynamic quarterback. I mean, he's capable of that. The problem is he is not consistent. The dude can have a great game and then can have a just crappy game. So it's, if he could stay on the good side all year, USC would have a chance to get to the playoffs. I can't say that he's going to be consistent like that. I can't do it. So that's why I have them at number 18. And the other thing is their offensive line has got to improve from last year. They allowed way too many sacks. One of those issues is Keaton Slovis is a freaking statue. So he needs to learn how to step up in the pocket just a little bit more. But he does need more protection. I will say that. He needs. That's funny that a quarterback on the team whose mascot is the Trojans needs more protection. That's a good one right there. All right, number 17, Coastal Carolina. Why is my camera lag? Hold on. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Give me one sec. Didn't know I was lagging that much. So hold on, guys. I'm not going to shut down the stream, but I'm going to try to switch and then switch back. Let's see. So give me 1 second. Dadgummit. Okay, that's the right one. Is it that one? Let me add that one. Nope. Where's the right thing? Crap. I don't know how to reset while I'm in. I know how to reset it outside. Dadgummit, why do I have to have lag? Yeah, y'all keep me up to date on the lag because I'm not too happy about that. But anyways, USC very inconsistent, but they have enough capabilities to get it done. I'm trying to fix my lag real quick, guys. I don't know what happened. Usually, oh, it might be the weather. I just now thought of that. We're having the thunderstorms roll by. Picked a bad time to do this. Crap. I did not realize that my that the weather was going to affect the lag. Do the best I can, but at least you already know what's coming. Apparently we are lagging, so we'll try to get through this. Number 17, Coastal Carolina, guys. Quarterback Grayson McCall, underrated quarterback, did great last year. He's back, and his two best targets are back, Healy and Isaiah Likely. The problem is, and I mentioned it on my video, CJ Marble, their running back, is gone, and he was really, really good. He averaged over 6 yards a carry. So a lot of questions at running back for Coastal Carolina. And their defense could take a slight step back, too, because they sack machine Teron Jackson. He had 8.5 sacks last year. So their defense could be a little less dominant as it was. So it's just my video. That's crazy. Usually if I lag, it's everything at once. So I don't know. That makes no sense. Yeah, I have the right source on. I don't know what's going on, guys. Hopefully y'all hang in there with me. But if not, I wouldn't blame y'all. Trust me, I'm not going to know this. This is not the normal. You can ask my subscribers. This is not how a normal live show goes. This is far from it. Usually we do fine. I think it's the rain. I really don't know. Number 16, Iowa. They also have stability at quarterback. Spencer Petras or Petras. I don't know how to say his last name. I haven't heard it all that much. But anyways, he's getting better and better every year. 3 out of their 5 offensive linemen are back. And the 2 that they did lose weren't like consensus All-American and stuff like that. So I think their offensive line is going to be fine. Solid run game with Tyler Goodson. Possibly the best running back in the Big Ten. We'll see. The defense keeps getting better and better every year. But this year they could take a slight step backwards only because they lost 3 of their defensive linemen. There's no way that you can't take even a slight step backwards. But they have a great secondary, so they'll be great against the pass. I don't know if they have enough talent to overtake Wisconsin in the Big Ten West, because I think it's going to be between Wisconsin and Iowa. But they could make things interesting, especially now that things are going back to full capacity. And Kinnick Stadium is one of the loudest stadiums in the nation, so that's going to help Iowa as well. And their schedule isn't all that bad. Number 15 in my preseason way too early. Man, I couldn't get it out. Way too early preseason top 25. Number 15, Notre Dame. ESPN has Notre Dame in the top 10. I have no clue why. I know they got Jack Cohn from Wisconsin, transfer from Wisconsin, and their run game will be decent, but their defense lost 5 key players. And what was Notre Dame good at last year? Their defense. They were the only team in the playoffs that had a top 10 defense, but they were also the only team in the playoffs that didn't have a top 10 offense. So they're going to lose 5 key players on their bread and butter, their defense. I do think they still have enough talent to possibly have 10 wins. Mark this down. You heard this right here on Golden Blue Dude. Notre Dame is not going to be competitive for the playoffs. Get that out of your mind. It's not going to happen. They lose too much on defense, and defense is what makes Notre Dame go. Their schedule, I think they get Indiana and Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting my schedules mixed up off the top of my head. But Notre Dame did not have a good offense last year. Ian Book was a great game manager. He's gone. Jack Cohn comes in. He's about the same thing, a good game manager. That's not going to get you through the season, especially if you lose lots of your defense. So, yeah. Notre Dame's not a top 10 team. I have no clue why they have them in the top 10. Even the facts, the reasons that they gave didn't make any sense. I'm like, come on, guys. Just say it. It's because they're Notre Dame. That's why you have them in the top 10. They always get the benefit of the doubt. But I see through it. Giving them number 15 was being generous. I was being generous, okay? Number 14. This may be a team that a lot of people don't see coming. Arizona State. They have an experienced wide receiving core, which helps Heisman hopeful Jalen Daniels. This dude is a freak of nature. He has a great arm, but he also has great legs. He is going to be in the conversation unless he gets injured. God forbid. He is going to be in the Heisman Trophy conversation towards the end of the year. So when that happens, don't be surprised. You heard it here first. They go 3 deep on their running backs as far as capable. They have some good running backs, and they're deep. Arizona State is my pick to win the Pac-12 South. I think it'll be Arizona State, and then battling for second will be USC and UCLA. So there you go. But they're not totally under the radar. ESPN has Arizona State ranked. A lot of people have them ranked. But I think Arizona State is more dangerous than what people even realize. Arizona State could be the Pac-12's biggest hope of getting to the playoffs. I'm convinced of that because they'll have the Heisman hopeful Daniels on the Sun Devils, and their schedule isn't all that bad. They have a tough road trip, I think, to Utah, and then the other one possibly to Washington. So that might be the only thing that could possibly hold them back during the season is that schedule. 2 tough road games. But if they can win 1 out of those 2 road games, and I think they're fully capable of that, Arizona State will be sitting very pretty in 2021. And that's why I have them number 14. Number 13, Miami. There is such a margin to put Miami in. And it all comes down to D'Eriq King. If D'Eriq King is not healthy, Miami is way down here. Like, maybe not even ranked. But with a healthy D'Eriq King, they're in a top 15 position. That's how important this dude is. He is an amazing athlete, and to be honest with you, I'm not a Miami fan, but I was pissed whenever I found out he had a season-ending injury. And I know it was at the very end of the season. I think it was the bowl game. It was either at the end or past the season. I was mad when I heard that news because I like D'Eriq King. He has a lot of skill, but he's a humble dude. This guy is way too humble to be as good as he is. So I really like the guy, and I was straight mad when I found out that D'Eriq King injured himself, the ACL. I'm like, man, I was expecting Miami just to, be a beast next year, and they still could. But him tearing his ACL does not help things at all. Not at all. So he's one of the few non-West Virginia guys that I get behind. I'm really pulling for D'Eriq King. I hope he pulls this off and slays that rehab and maybe surprises Alabama. We'll see. Number 12, the surprise of the Big 12 to go along with Arizona State. And that's Washington. That game in Seattle, and I think Arizona has to go to Washington. That's what I'm basing this off of. I think that's the thing. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Arizona State has to go to Washington. If I'm correct on that, that's a huge game. That'll be a precursor to the Pac-12 championship. It could throw one of them off, though. It could kill one of their momentum, and then maybe another team in that division gets in just because of the momentum kill. But as far as talent goes, Washington is the best of the North, and Arizona State is the best of the South. Sean McGrew, the running back from Washington, he might be the best running back in the Pac-12, right up there with UCLA's running back. This dude is a beast. He's going to be a great NFL player. Most of the offensive line is going to be back. They lost hardly anybody up there. They're going to be fine at the line of scrimmage. The big question is quarterback Dylan Morris. Washington ended up only playing 4 games. They went 3-1. He looked really, really good, but you couldn't get a real feel for him. We didn't see enough of him. So I think just the big question of him is enough for people to be like, I'm going to hold off on Washington right now. Not me. I think the dude is legit. And I think Washington has a really good schedule, a really favorable schedule. They get Arizona State at home. And Oregon is not going to be very good at all. I don't have Oregon in my top 25 at all. I don't understand why people have Oregon ranked as high as they do. They have quarterback issues galore. And they were so inconsistent. Yeah, but Oregon is the defending Pac-12 champions. They went 4-3. The only reason they got into the Pac-12 championship was by default because Washington had COVID. And they beat USC because USC was inconsistent. I do not go by last year. Well, actually, I do. And I see the inconsistency. I'm not putting Oregon in my top 25. They're too inconsistent. Number 11, the Ragin' Cajuns, Louisiana. Yeah, another shocker from last year. Right off the bat, they beat Iowa State. People were like, huh? Is that the name of the team that was on the Water Boy? Because Louisiana, I think it was Southeast Louisiana State or something like that he went to. But nobody knows the Ragin' Cajuns all that much unless you're in the state of Louisiana. So I thought that was really cool. Levi Lewis, crazy good quarterback. He's back. Running back Chris Smith, who averaged 5.7 yards a carry. He's back. Most of the offensive line, they're back. Louisiana could have the best running game in the nation this year. I'm gonna be upfront with you and give you my opinion on this. Louisiana could have the best rushing game in the nation. They can pass whenever they want to, but they're not known for their passing. They are great at running. They will gouge you to death, and they can run and clock, and before you know it, you're beat, and you're like, dang, we didn't even get to run that many plays. That's because you were on the sideline while they were chewing up clock, running it down your throat. That's how good Louisiana is. They'll run it down your throat. They'll eat up that clock. You're like, dadgum, we only got like 40 plays in this game. They're just good at running and chewing up clock. They shorten the game. Louisiana has become masters at shortening the game. And guess what? Every supporting cast member on that crew for shortening games, they're back. So they're going to do it again. I think Louisiana will win the Sun Belt this year. I think they'll beat Coastal Carolina in the Sun Belt Championship, and they go on and make the New Year's Six Bowl. Louisiana, going to be the real deal. The only thing is their defense will take a slight step back, but not a major step back. Last year they allowed less than 5 yards per play. They should probably be right around that. It might be a smidge above, but nothing crazy. Look out for Louisiana. I'm telling you, Sun Belt champs. I think it's going to happen. Number 10, this is the one that I got ripped on the most, and it was because of last year. You're not looking at the overall picture or what they've done or what they've been building or one game that might have changed the season. Penn State, number 10 in the nation. Yes, I think Penn State will be a top 10 team in 2021. Go to blue, dude. They went 4-5 last year. Yeah, it was 4-5. Yeah, but they finished the season strong. 4 straight wins. No, it wasn't against a ranked team, but they only played one ranked team during the whole season. Indiana turned out to be a ranked team, so technically 2. But during the time they played them, only 1. And had they beat Indiana, their season could have gone totally different. But Indiana was probably hit the hardest by the COVID opt-outs, especially with Micah Parsons saying, I'm not playing. They did not have a backup plan for that. Penn State comes back with a vengeance. And the thing that is benefiting Penn State this year is Sean Clifford actually has competition in the quarterback position. Last year, it was just his, and he didn't care. He didn't put much effort into it, didn't have to watch his back. They did some flipping there towards the end, but by then, it was too late. This year, Taquan Robinson and Christian Valou, they are going to give Sean Clifford a run for his money. And if they beat him in the quarterback competition, so be it. They're the better quarterback. But Sean Clifford is still the favorite. And if he does win the quarterback competition, he will have earned it. Because those two guys are legit high-end 4-star recruits. Great, fantastic quarterback battle going on in Penn State. They also have great depth at running back. I mean, Penn State is deep this year. That's one of their, positive things. Penn State is going to be a deep team. And that's why going to the full schedule is going to benefit Penn State this year. Northwestern and Indiana are going to fall by the wayside. Not because they're bad teams, but because it's going to be a full schedule, and they do not have the depth that Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Penn State have. They just don't. I pull for the underdog, but I just think the full schedule is going to catch up with both of those two teams. If you notice, Northwestern is not in my top 25. They were close. They have a great defense. They lost some key pieces, but they are a mess on the offensive side of the ball. A complete disaster. All right, let's jump into number 9. Number 9. I didn't even realize this, but I had... hold on, what was it? Back-to-back Big Tens. No, 3 back-to-back Big Ten teams. So we started off with number 10. That was Penn State. Number 9 is going to be Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin will be the best of the West, but you better watch out for Iowa because they're going to be pretty good. I think Wisconsin's running back, Berger, he's going to have a really good season. Wisconsin is known for running the ball. Jonathan Taylor was a great running back for Wisconsin. They did have a down year in the running game last year, but I think they recover and have a great year in running. They're going to chew clock, and they're going to shorten the game just like Louisiana. Louisiana and Wisconsin remind me of each other, except for the actual quarterback. Wisconsin does not have a dual-threat quarterback. But they have great receivers this year. Danny Davis III and Kendrick Pryor back from injuries. That's another thing you have to take into consideration from last year. Those two guys were injured, and they are the best targets for this offense. So now that they're back, Wisconsin will be better. I mean, those guys are really, really good. So that's why I have Wisconsin ranked so high, and their schedule not all that bad. The cool thing is, right off the bat, Penn State goes to Wisconsin. So I have number 9 and number 10 having to battle each other in that first game. It's going to be awesome. Wisconsin might end up doing the jump around all over Penn State and, put the beat down. Or Penn State might surprise them. I don't know. I just hope that, it doesn't kill Penn State's momentum, because I think Penn State has big-time potential in 2021. Defense is experienced. They're going to be reliable. Not worried about Wisconsin's defense, even if they take a step backwards. It's always Wisconsin's offense that I'm focused on, because that's where they have their issues. I think they rebound with their running game, and that's why I have Wisconsin as the Big Ten West favorites. Number 8 in my way too early preseason top 25, the Ohio State Buckeyes. The reason I have them not in my top 5 is because of the quarterback issue. C.J. Stroud seems to be the one that's winning the competition, but if you think that it's not going to be a step below Justin Fields, you are kidding yourselves. It will be a step below Justin Fields. I still have Ohio State as a top 10 team, but they're not going to make the playoffs next year. No chance. The Buckeyes are loaded on at the wide receiver position. Not going to lie about that. The two names that pop out the most are Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Those two guys are crazy. They had right around the same amount of production last year. So I can't lie about that. They're going to have to figure out the offensive line. They lost 2 All-Americans, especially their center. That's going to be tough. But they're going to rotate I think it's their left guard, who was a good center in high school. So, Ohio State's offensive line is going to be a work in progress. I don't trust it enough to say that Ohio State's a top 5 team. I don't think they are. And we all know that their secondary has got to improve. It has to. It was not good last year. So 3 things that I combined. The uncertainty at quarterback, the shuffling of the offensive line, and how bad their secondary was last year. That's why I have Ohio State ranked number 8. For Ohio State, that's not good. For, a West Virginia fan, number 8 preseason would be amazing. Or number 8. Did I say number 9? I have them at number 8. Sorry. So for a West Virginia fan, a preseason number 8 would be great. For Ohio State, it's like, you disrespected us because you didn't put us in the top 5. Chill out. I had a recipe for why I had them at number 8. There's a reason. I don't have any bias except towards Pitt, but I still try to call it like I see it. If Pitt has a good team, I will give them props. But that would really be the only team that I would have a bias against. Ohio State, no. I've been accused of that several times. I'm like, what are you talking about? No. I don't even have a reason for it. I'm not a Michigan fan. Number 7, North Carolina. North Carolina's going to test Clemson this year. I think North Carolina gets to the ACC Championship, and it's going to be North Carolina and Clemson. We all know Sam Howell is going to be a Heisman Trophy contender. He's amazing. He's going to have wide receivers Bo Corrales, Josh Downs, Emory Simmons, and Khafre Brown. They did lose a few wide receivers, but they are definitely reloading. The biggest issue with North Carolina is their running game. Michael Carter and Javonte Williams are gone. Fortunately for North Carolina, Mike Brown knows how to recruit and knows how to convince transfers to get along, little doggy, because they got Tennessee Ty Chandler to transfer. So they're going to be okay in the running game. They're not going to be great, but they'll be fine. They'll be okay. If you hear a rumbling, that's thunder. Got a little thunderstorm going on. The entire offensive line will be back. The entire defensive line will be back. No key pieces lost on defense. North Carolina has a good defense. People don't realize that because Sam Howell and the offense steals the limelight. But their defense is good at takeaways. They are. That's why North Carolina is having success right now. It's not just a great offense. They also like to turn people over. So that's why I'm so high on North Carolina. And their schedule isn't all that bad either. And I do think that it's going to be North Carolina and Clemson in the ACC Championship. They get Miami at home. And depending on the health of De'Aaron King, I think that's North Carolina's game to lose. Now, if De'Aaron King's rehabbed by then, has a chip on his shoulder from last year getting obliterated, obliterated. And Miami's got to figure out a way to somehow keep North Carolina from knowing the next play they're going to call. An assistant on North Carolina used to be on Miami's team. And there's this consensus opinion that he saw tendencies. He literally knew what Miami was going to do next. And from watching the game, that's what it looked like. I'm not saying he was cheating or anything like that. He was just super keen on seeing their tendencies, their setup, their shifts, everything. And if you watched last year's game between Miami and North Carolina, you would swear that the defensive coordinator for North Carolina knew Miami's offensive play before they even ran it. So if they can somehow mix that up a little bit and keep the defensive coordinator from knowing, what they're going to call, that would help as well. I don't know if that's actually true, but from watching the game, it definitely looked like it. Number 6 on my way too early college football preseason top 25, Iowa State. Iowa State returns almost everybody as far as production. I went through the percentage on what all they returned. Like passing production, running production, sacks production, deflection production, offensive line snaps production. There was no number below 65%. No section of their offense or their defense was returning less than 65% of their production. Iowa State is going to be the experienced kid on the block. Even if they're not the most talented, they will be the most experienced. But Iowa State is talented. Brock Purdy, not a Heisman type of quarterback, although it wouldn't surprise me if he made a run at it. But their running back, Breece Hall, he is Heisman caliber. That dude was a beast last year. They also have wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson, Tariq Milton, and their tight end, Charlie Kohler. He could be one of the best tight ends in the nation this year. So they're going to have a great offensive attack. It depends on, Oklahoma. Will they have the best offense in the Big 12 or the second best? And can they beat Oklahoma this year? You're going to have to beat them at least once. You did it last year, but they knocked you out of the Big 12 championship, and you lost to Louisiana. That knocked you out of the playoffs. You had a real good shot at getting to the playoffs, but you blew it. Not many people other than Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State say, well, maybe Oklahoma as well, say, they're getting a back-to-back year chance of getting to the playoffs. You actually do, Iowa State. It's up to you. You got the experience. You got the talent. Do you have the nerve? We'll see. Now we're in the top 5. Number 5, Cincinnati. How great was Cincinnati last year? They were awesome. Guess what? They returned 16 of their 22 starters from last year. The only reason they didn't make it to the playoffs last year was because of they didn't play enough Power 5s. Well, guess what? Now they decided they were going to play 2 more good Power 5s. They got Indiana and Notre Dame. That is going to be a great schedule. If they go undefeated, there is no argument. Cincinnati belongs in the playoffs. Desmond Ridder, he is an underrated type of quarterback. I think he'll do well in the NFL as long as he don't get injured. The defense is veteran. The schedule isn't bad. They beefed it up a little bit with their Power 5 schedule. Cincinnati is good to go. Everything you saw last year has the potential to be the same or better, just with a better schedule. So we'll see if they handle their non-conference game as well as I think they will. I think they are perfectly capable of going undefeated. So we'll see if that happens. Last year wasn't in front of packed stadiums. That's the only drawback that I have. And I think both of those are road games. So we'll see how they handle hostile environments. Although Notre Dame is not a very hostile environment, neither is Indiana. So come to think of it, they might do just fine because both of those places are not very hostile at all. In fact, both of those stadiums made my quietest stadiums list. And I posted that in the Notre Dame Facebook groups, and they agreed. They're like, he's right. Ushers come up to you and tell you to sit down if you're standing in front of somebody that can't see. You have to mind your manners at Notre Dame Stadium. I'm not making fun of it. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Number 4, Oklahoma. Spencer Rattler got off to a
Rough start in 2020, but he looks better and better as the 2020 season went on. He's a preseason Heisman Trophy favorite, in my opinion, at least. He progressed excellent last year. They did lose their leading rusher, but they do get Kennedy Brooke back before he left. But he's back. So I think the running game will be fine. Passing game is going to be fine. Defense going to be great. Alex Grinch has Oklahoma having an actual defense. If you have an actual defense in the Big 12, you're going to do some things because you're not just having to outscore the opponent. You can actually stop the opponent. Yeah, you got a shot. Oklahoma, I think, makes the playoffs this year. It just depends on Iowa State. Can Iowa State get over the hump? I'm still not convinced. I'm pulling for Iowa State. I really am, but I'm not convinced yet. Number 3, a lot of people said this is 3 notches too low or 2 notches too low, whatever. 3 notches too low. Alabama, Bryce Young looked really good in the spring game. Over 300 yards passing. It's the run game that I'm concerned with. Najee Harris is gone, and it shows. That running game doesn't look as good right now. Can they grow into it? Can the offensive line bulldoze the opponents to where, that running back doesn't have to do much work? We'll see. Alabama is Alabama. They do reload. So I don't have the guts to say that they're not going to be in the playoffs this year. They will contend. I'm not 100% convinced that they will be in the playoffs either. They're not going to be dominating like they were last year. Their defense will be fine. It's that running game. And I think Alabama grabs 1 loss in the regular season. And then it depends on if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship. That's what a lot of the playoff structure will depend on that one game. Number 2 in my way too early preseason top 25 is going to be Clemson. DJ Uiagalelei looked really good. Well, not really good. He looked good in the spring game. He looked really good against Notre Dame. They lost Amari Rodgers, but Justin Ross is going to be back, but he hasn't had any contact. No contact yet. But his capabilities are pretty high. Clemson has several competent wide receivers. They do have to replace Travis Etienne, but not a problem because Will Shipley is looking dangerous. This dude looks great. So the difference to me between Clemson and Alabama is Clemson has a great freshman 5-star running back coming in. Will Shipley looks really legit. So I'm not as worried about Clemson as I am about Alabama as far as the run game. But as you can see, it's just one spot. So it's not like I'm saying there's a huge gap. But that's the difference between that one spot is the running game. So number 1 in my way too early preseason top 25 is Georgia. Strictly based on talent and maybe a little bit of coaching, although I do think Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban are way better coaches than Kirby Smart. But, I mean, Georgia has too much talent for him to mess this up, right? I mean, somebody... They do, don't they? Don't they? I mean, don't they? They do, right? Right? He couldn't possibly do that with this much talent, could he? I mean, could he? Man, I don't know. But they are loaded in talent, that's for sure. JT Daniels, they look like a different team under him. Stetson Bennett was a joke. JT Daniels, he's the real deal. Even with wide receiver George Pickens out, they still got Dominic Blaylock, Curious Jackson, Jermaine Burton, tight end Darnell Washington, and don't forget about running back Zamir White, so they have experience and talent there. Defense will be fine. They picked up West Virginia safety Tyke Smith. That hurt West Virginia tremendously, but it helped Georgia tremendously. So I think their defense will be fine. Maybe not quite elite, but very, very, very good. Georgia's schedule, not tough at all except for that first game. I think they have enough to beat Clemson. But then after that, I think Clemson goes and they win the ACC championship, and get to the playoffs. Not worried about that part. But I think since it's at the beginning of the season, Georgia has more experience as far as their roster goes than Clemson is. They're not going to need any games to get more chemistry or game experience or anything like that. Clemson will. They're breaking in some new guys. Don't get me wrong, Clemson has a lot of talent, but Georgia has the experience. Now, would it surprise me if Clemson beat Georgia? Of course not. Clemson is Clemson. I'm just going by returning talent and having to replace the least amount of pieces. And for me, the answer is Georgia. Feel free to disagree all you want. That is fine. That is why we do this. All right, so real quick here, guys. I wanted to give y'all an update on my 130 logo brackets because we started round 2 for the voting. I need to check the votes real quick, guys. Give me 1 second here. Region. Here we go. Man, only 12 comments. Are you serious? Only 12 comments, so not a lot of voting on this yet. What are y'all doing? Only 12 comments. I put it out earlier today. We can do better than that. Come on, guys. But we'll go through it anyways. See where we stand. Let me look at Region 1 real quick. And by the way, rules still stand as far as Super Chats. If a team is moving on to the second round and you're not happy about it, then if you Super Chat that team, every dollar that you spend, that adds an extra vote towards that team. Let me find Region 1 real quick. So here we go. Okay, Region 1 did all right, 35 comments. So as of right now, it looks like between the 1 seed Washington State and the 9 seed Louisville, it looks like Washington State is dominating Louisville right now. See 1. Yeah, Louisville, I'm only seeing, crap, forgot that I posted all that. Louisville, I'm only seeing, like 3, 4, 5. So, Washington State has like 14, 15 votes to 5. So, Washington State is blowing them out of the water. Sorry, my boy walked in real quick. You okay? Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm getting a cube.
Huh?
I need a cube.
Oh, okay. I got you. He needed a cube to charge his iPad. We let them stay up just a little bit later. So, Washington State beating Louisville in the voting. Old Dominion, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2. Crap, I keep going. 9-2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13-3, 14, 15, 16-3. East Carolina blowing Old Dominion out as far as the brackets go. And if you're a new viewer right now and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Well, I did 130 logo brackets and I've done videos. We're in round 2. Eventually, we're going to crown the best logo in the nation voted by the people. The best way to vote is just leave comments in my videos. So we're in round 2. Region 1, we have matchups of the 1 seed Washington and the 9 seed Louisville, the 5 seed East Carolina and the 13 seed Old Dominion. Both Washington State and East Carolina are dominating, so I'm expecting those to move on. And then Iowa State is... no, actually it looks like San Diego State might have a small lead. Let's see, 5-3. Yeah, it looks like... Yeah, it looks like San Diego State is beating Iowa State in the voting. So, San Diego State looks like they're going to move on. There's still time, though. I'm not going to shut down the polls for another couple days. And then Miami is blowing Ohio completely out of the water. I don't even know if... No, I see 1 vote for Ohio. Hold on. 1 vote for Ohio. 2. Yeah, they're getting blown out. 3 votes for Ohio. So I fully expect Miami to go to the second round. So, what did y'all think of my top 25? Let me see who's in the chat real quick. We got, let me take my sunglasses off. We got Mike MC in the house. I haven't seen you in a while, man. I don't. Have you commented in the comment section before? Because the name is not ringing a bell. And don't get offended. I have a bad memory, so it's if you have, it's definitely not you. It's me. But anyways, so if you're newer to this, I hope you had fun. Michael Vick's in the house. Bean Taz. Now that's a name that I definitely don't recognize. That's memorable, and I would have known that if I would have seen that before. He says Kentucky is 4 points away from their first women's volleyball championship. I know that's a big deal in Nebraska as well. So, yeah, I would be saying the same thing. A lot of people are like, if you're not good in, if you didn't have a good year in football or basketball or blah, 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 then you go to lower sports like that. No, women's volleyball is cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's actually really cool. Citrus Aviation is in the house. He was defending me earlier when Mike MC said I might be a Big Ten homer. Now I definitely know that you're new because, yeah, my OG subscribers know that I'm not. And that's nothing against you. I knew how it sounded whenever I said 3 in a row. But yeah, I'm definitely not a Big Ten homer. We also have Talk His Pit. Oh, yeah, he had to stop by and talk some trash. Ballard Sports Media, what's going on, bud? Let's see. Who else? Did I miss anybody? David Shopfer. Yeah, he was active earlier in the chat. I think he had to go, though. Let me know if you're still here, bud. Reese Farrell, he's in the house. Did I miss anybody? The Lincoln Stevens shows. Yeah. I checked out his video from the other day. It was pretty good. Let's see. Did I get everybody? I didn't see Wisconsin fan here today. That's weird. Somebody check on him. I didn't see him in the chat. W Prodigy. I saw him earlier. Let's see. I believe that's it. No, the bet was in earlier. And then, of course, Big Papa Smurf. I forgot about you, bud. You were at the very beginning. Big Papa Smurf, he was actually... he actually lives in the area that I live in, and he saw my bumper sticker on my car and looked me up on YouTube, and that's how he subscribed. So he sees me around a lot. I haven't met him personally because I don't know what he looks like or his car looks like, but so far he hasn't been able to stop and actually introduce himself. So I'm hoping he can do that relatively soon. That would be really cool to actually meet one of my subscribers in person. Eventually we'll do like a get together, some type of meet and greet. That would be really cool. I'll try to make it as geographically friendly to everybody as possible. So I appreciate the comment, bud. Mike MC says good show. Go to Blue Dude. Can't wait for Jerry Dome against the Cardinal. I hear you. You're a Kansas State fan. I like it. Okay. You did comment a few times. I just don't remember it. Yeah, I think you commented in my regular videos. That's what I remembered you by. I think Kansas State is going to be better. They were teetering on my top 25. They could be my sleeper to maybe surprise Iowa State and Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship. I'm not super confident about that, but if there was a team that was going to do it, it would be Kansas State. They're going to get Skylar Thompson back, and he's going to be 100% healthy. So, yeah, I look forward to the Big 12 football season. Well, college football season in general. I'm going to wrap this up, guys. If you're not a subscriber already, hit that subscribe button. Ask my subscribers videos every single day. Live shows at least twice a week on Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Every once in a while, I do a random one like this one, but definitely Mondays and Fridays. So, yeah, hit that subscribe button, but only if you like, sorry about that, I hit the mic, but only if you like, college football. If you don't like college football, don't subscribe, don't even bother. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all stopping by, even though I had some, video issues because of the thunderstorm, but I'm going to get off here and, go lay down. I'm still a little stopped up and not feeling all that great, but, I toughed it out tonight. Appreciate y'all stopping by, and if I don't do one tomorrow, I would definitely